Okay people, we are trying to go live just on YouTube, so if you are watching us, please let me know if you're hearing us, and we'll go from there. So it's connecting to YouTube, so I'm just going to have to get somebody in the family that is watching, or any of you, please let anybody know on Facebook that we are connected just on YouTube. What we were going to have to do is go from, copy it down from the YouTube channel onto our Facebook or onto our website. Sorry, I've got to get my camera back in place because I had my phone in my hand to tell everybody on Facebook that I was coming back, and then I was coming to tell you on Facebook that I was coming back. Or sorry, on YouTube that I was coming back. But you've got me on YouTube. You just haven't got me on Facebook. So what I will do then is, if you are watching on YouTube, please let me know that you can see me. I need to see some comments before I carry on so that I know whether we're there or not. Bear with me. I'm hoping we are there. I'm not seeing any comments come through. If we are, please, please, please let me know. I know that Helen was watching on YouTube, but I don't know if anybody else is. So, yay! Thank the Lord I'm not on my own. So we're on YouTube. Those of you on YouTube that can get onto our Facebook page, please do so, because if I can disconnect from anything now, I think we lose everything. So it's nice to see some comments coming through saying that we are finally on YouTube. Good feed as well. Well, hey, I'm so not technically minded. I am now stressed to the hilt, so we'll get onto crafting, which will hopefully stop me being quite so stressed. So we are obviously coming through on YouTube. As I say, those of you that are on YouTube that can get onto our Facebook page, please go on there and let them know that we're on YouTube, or that we are going to download this to our Facebook page. Goodness knows how I'm going to do that, but obviously there's a way that I can do it. I'm just not sure how yet. We'll work it out after we've done the video. So we will, as I say, I've had Emma, Pat and Sandra tell me that we are live on YouTube. I'm being told from the people in my premises that I'm not on YouTube, so I don't know now if this is a delay that your messages are coming up, or if I am actually connected. So Emma, Pat or Sandra, please just ping up and say, yes, it is live. If you say those words to me, I know I am live. Oh, good grief. What a day. And the heavens have opened again. So hopefully those of you that are in and around the area of this fabulous storm that we have coming through the UK today are keeping safe and sound. It's gone really very dark around here again, which we were warned would happen this afternoon, so I'm now not getting any further comments through on YouTube. So do you know what, I'm going to go for it, and hopefully we're connected, and then if I have to, I'll go back and do it again later. Emma, you're an angel. Yes, we are live. I'm just going to do it. Let's go. I think there's only going to be me and you there, Emma, but fingers crossed. You'll enjoy the demo and we can have some fun. So first of all, today we are going to go through Hi Sandra, I'm so pleased. I've heard that it's really cold in Canada, and colder than it normally would be this early, apparently. I don't know. So we'll just have to hope that that's not something. Maybe you're getting your winter early and you'll have a nice early spring. Let's look on the positive side, shall we? Unless you love snow and it's love being cold, and then it's obviously positive. So, as I said, we are today working, I'm going to show you what all the fabulous demo sample cards from our amazing design team. And I've got a quick little demo to show. Yeah, Emma, it's not just me and you, but poor Sandra's all the way from Canada. But anyway, there's a couple of us, so we can have a bit of a giggle. Anyway, so let's go. So these are the latest release that are going to be on TV with us this week. Sandra, we are on Create and Craft TV on UK snow. Oh, I don't know if I do snow. In the UK, and we are on Wednesday night, which is the 8th of November at 7 p.m. UK time, which I'm not sure what the time difference is whereabouts you are in Canada, but probably about lunchtime, which might be quite nice for you if you can get to watch it. I know they do go, it does come up on, catch up on Create and Craft on the internet, but I don't know if everybody can get it on the internet. I have no clue. I'm trying to bring us in a little bit so you don't get all of my table. What a drama today has been. The problem we have is we film this in my mum's place, and from where the main connection is for our internet and to where we are is quite a distance, so we have a booster, and normally it's not a problem at all, but last time and this time it's given me real problems. So as I say, back to the stamps. So we have Floral Wishes, and so with Floral Wishes we get the lovely big floral stamp, and then we get Get Well Wishes Your Way and Sending Birthday Wishes Your Way. Then we have Proud Day, and then it says well done, so proud of you, thank you, you made, so proud, and then you can put me or us in there, and then you made neither my or our day in there. Then we have Changing Blooms, which comes with the really big stamp. You get the 2 small sprigs on the side, and then Let Your Smile Change the World, and Happy Birthday to Someone Very Special. Then we have Shining Star, and it says thank you, you're a star, well done to you, congratulations to you, happy birthday to you, shine like the star you are. You then get these little droplets that come off the side, and then obviously you get this lovely border. Just seeing we're off the page there. A lovely border that these sentiments all fit into. So if you just wanted a gold border or a black border, but you didn't want to matte and layer it, you want to keep it quite one level, you can do that without having to put the matte and layering in, just by colouring what ink you use, or if you emboss it with what embossing powders you use. And then obviously we've got the lovely big star in the middle as well. Oh, and I forgot, you get 5 tiny little stars as well. And then we've got our fab 7x7 stencils. So we've got the lovely bubbly, we've got scribble stencil, we have got funky lines stencil, and paint splats stencil, and masks. So with the masks you don't get a full mask on everything, so with this particular one, see here these tiny little pieces, there's absolutely no way you could use those masks, and there's no way they can be saved in the way in which stencils are made. So you just get the bigger pieces of those stencils for the masks. And then last but not least, we have the bold brush strokes. Again, same thing here, you get the bigger chunks for the masks. You're not going to get all the little pieces because they're just impossible to be kept. So that's all the products, the new products we're taking. There will be a couple of others on there. Seems very strange to just be on YouTube. But I will task my other half, Mr. Mitzi, Martin, please. I'm sure he will. Is going to be working tirelessly to work out how we transfer. I think he probably already knows how we transfer this video onto our Facebook page. And hopefully one of you lovely ladies has popped on Facebook that we have that problem. So Shining Star to start with. So this one has been done. Oh, this one was done by me. And it's just 3 different colours of inks blended, and then I've heat embossed with silver, just a silver embossing powder on there. I have added a little bit of texture, so in fact we'll get in a bit closer here. So this particular one, I stamped the star out, and then I stamped, then I stuck it onto black cardstock and just gave myself a black edge. Now I'm sure you could do a black edge just with a black felt tip pen or something if you had one and you didn't want to do what I did. I have also added a little bit of dimension to a few of the stars just by popping them on a foam pad. So really simple card to make, but quite effective, and a great men's card. Oh, that's a shame that you're not getting good ones where you are too though, Sandra, but I'm glad you like our stamps too. This one's done by the lovely Helen. I'm thinking we need to give you a little bit more of a, oh, wrong way. a little bit more. I'm afraid you're just going to have to deal with the bits that are floating about beside me today. So this one was done by the lovely Helen, and she's done this with black ink, and then she's popped in some stickles or glitter glue of some sort in some of the stars, which really makes them pop. I think that looks really effective, and a really simple clean cut card. Thank you very much, Emma, but hopefully they might have worked it out, and that we will be posting this video on. Then this is the one that we did on the YouTube live last week, Facebook live a couple of weeks ago, not last week, the week before. And then it has the little pop-up here for the birthday in the middle. And we have used our paint splats on this one as well. If I open it that way, you can see them a little bit easier. So this is the paint splats stencils and mask set on there as well. Hi, Margaret. A lovely one done by Mum with navy and, I've got it the wrong way around, with navy and silver sparkles. So it's got a little bit of sparkle, and she's just added a couple of little swirly tails on there too. Again, makes a great men's card. Then we have one, this one has been done by Hazel, and she has used Sentiment from Shining Star. Yeah, so this is a little bit different. You wouldn't actually instantly know that that was from that particular set of stamps. So she's just taken it, just sections of it, and then matte and layered it as well, coloured in some of the stars. Thank you, Sandra. That's the one that we did. We did two last Facebook Live, which I think was, I want to say, the 19th of October. So if you want to go back onto YouTube and watch the videos, there's two on there, and you'll be able to see how that one was done. Back to this one. This is that border that I told you about, that's rectangular border stamp as well. So that's the effect that you can get without actually having to matte and layer it, which I think looks pretty cool. Another one from Hazel, and she's used the gold embossing powder on this one, and she's done two stars, and she's also layered it like I did with the black, but with a slightly bigger border on the edge. And then these are just stars that she's cut randomly from a die that she already had, I believe. And again, that Sentiment on there, and she has actually heat embossed the background as well, so that she could have the same colour running all the way through. Then this one is another one from Hazel, and she's made this into a Christmas card. So the Sentiment on this is from the Christmas tree stamp set that we have. So she's just popped the Sentiment on there. Again, it fits perfectly within that border. That wasn't planned, but it does work. And then she's used the 5 little droplets to kind of make it into a bauble, which I think again looks really, really effective. And she has used the gold embossing powder, honeydew cast embossing powder as well. So this one is from Carol. She has used Shining Star Funky Lines stencil and Distress Oxides in Shaded Lilac Seedless Preserve. So this is kind of, this is one of my favourite types of cards. So she's used the little stamps here and around the edges. And then inside, these sections here are from the Funky Lines stencil. So she's just used a section out of it. Again, filled the background in. Colour coordinated all the colours by using the oxides to wipe down the sides there. And then last but not least, another one done by Carol. Hang on a minute, I said that was Hazel, the last one, but it was Hazel. Sorry, I jumped back. This one's done by Carol, and she has used Shining Star, bold brushstroke stencils and masks, and Distress Oxides in Blueprint Sketch and Mustard Seed. So she has used the masking stencil behind here. So by the looks of things, she coloured the background, then she put the mask on the top, and then she went over with a darker colour in the background, and then she has just coloured in the star and the individual stars within the star with pencils. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Sandra. Hopefully by going back and looking at them, it will give you something else to focus on. It's always a hard time. So we will pop those ones. I'm trying to do this really organised because, as you all know, I don't have a huge amount of space here. So I'm trying to do it so that one goes in and another one comes out, but I'm not going to necessarily be that great at that. So we have, this one's done by Hazel. You've got a few, oh, you're getting a sneak peek. We'll move them out of the way. So we've got Honeydew Crafts script stamp was used on this one, Copic pens and Honeydew Crafts Floral Wishes. So she's used our script stamp in the background. Remember, you've seen me use that a few times. It's a really nice stamp to use to do this kind of thing. And then the sentiment on the top there, and she's just literally stamped over the top and coloured in on those flowers. Then we have another one from Hazel. Hazel makes lots of our little cards, which are really cute. Again, coloured with Copic markers, Floral Wishes and Honeydew Crafts gold embossing powder on this one. Love the colours on this one, but I do really like those. Oh, bless you. Thank you very much, Sandra. I don't know so much about the Talented and Created, but we have a giggle and we try and come up with something that's worth sending to somebody. So, then we have another one that is called, this one's been done by Carol, and it's called Using Floral Wishes, Lovely Bubbly and Distress Oxides in Squeezed Lemonade, Dried Marigold and Cracked Pistachio. So she's used the multiple colours in the background. They don't usually stand out on here, and then she's stamped in the corner and coloured in. So that one's really effective. I really like those colours together. So we have another little one called from Hazel, and it's using Floral Wishes, Versafine black watercolour pencils, and the sentiment is from Honeydew Crafts Poppy Bouquet, which just says thinking of you. Which is what we are all doing, Sandra, thinking of you. It's always tough when you lose someone close. So again, really cute little card. She's just used dies from her own stash to do the background. But yeah, she's and a coloured card on the back. This one is done by the lovely Helen, and she has stamped with gold embossing powder, acetate flowers, and golden glamour dust on them as well. So she's popped some glamour dust in the middle here, and then we've just got, she's made the flowers out of acetate. I don't know if you can see that. There you go, just catches it there, I think. Really simple, clean card, really effective. I love the way that Helen does this, and I can never quite get it quite as precise as Helen does. Hello Kathy, hope that foot's doing alright, and lovely that you're joining us. Hopefully more and more people will pop over from Facebook and join us as we're going along. And then last but not least, this one for this particular set of stamps is from Carol, and it's using Floral Wishes, Paint Splatter, Stencils and Masks, Changing Bloom Sentiment and Oxides in Villainous Potion, Kitsch Flamingo and Salvage Patina. So again, she's used the stencil in the background to put your paint splats on, and this is a little trick that I did years ago with the stamps, and Carol has taken a liking to this one, and I love doing this too. So she's done the same thing with her with the stencil on this particular stamp, which if you are watching us on next Wednesday, Create Craft TV, one of my demos is actually done with this, but not with this particular set of stamps, done with this technique. So you'll get an idea on how it all works, I hope. And again, the sentiment is from Changing Blooms. So that, and I'm going to swap them over and see if we get it right this time without causing problems. So that was our Floral Wishes. We are now going on to Proud Day. So again, the reason we have a design team is because everybody comes up with such different ideas. So this one has been done by Helen. She's used bold brush strokes, gold glitter pen and gold wink of Stella pen. Lovely card. She hasn't said which colour she's used actually on her background, but really, really effective. And actually, she's done the background and stamped on there. She's used the gold wink of Stella on the on the foliage and in the middle with something else. But she has actually cut this particular pieces out, the actual flower heads, and stuck them on over the top, so it looks like it's been masked, but she has really, she'd cut that out really well. You actually wouldn't know unless you touched it that that wasn't stamped on there directly. Obviously the underneath one is, and then she's done it again separately and popped that on the top. We have another one from Carol. Carol's going through a bit of a tough time too, so thanks Carol for doing what you've done for us. We've fallen apart a little bit with our little design team at the moment. Poor Helen's hurt her leg and on her knee. Hazel's struggled with her with COVID. I hurt my back. Carol's had other issues going on, and her poor little girl's been poorly as well. So we've been going right through it. So this one is using paint splats, stencils and mask, distress oxides in blueprint sketch and mustard seed. So a really simple card to make. Pop the stencil down, pop your colours where you want to. The nice thing about having the stencil against having it as a stamp, which we also do have, is that you can do the different shading. You don't have to go in with a solid colour. Oh, that's not good, Kathy. Hope you get to January with a numb foot. Oh, bless you. That's not good. Fingers crossed you can get that sorted. Hey, you can come to Sandown before then and have something to look forward to before you have to look forward to that one. So hopefully we might see you at Sandown. So as I say, this is a lovely card done by Carol. Love the yellows and blues together. I think they always work really, really well. And actually all she's coloured in on the daisy here is the actual centre of the flower and the leaves. She's left the actual flower head completely white, which looks really effective too. Another one done by Carol. She has used brush strokes, stencils and a mask, and distress oxides in picture raspberry and twisted citron, my two favourite colours. Again, she's used the mask in the background, the stencil in the background, using the two colours. Oh, good grief. She's popped the sentiment up on some foam pads, and this has got a little bit of dimension to it. And again, just coloured in with those oxides, and she's painted those by the looks of things. Newbury only. Oh, unfortunately, at the moment, Newbury's not going to be till the end of next year, we think. So it'll be a little while, but we might get to see you there anyway. Then we have one from the lovely Hazel. Hazel's in the Lake District, and we're here in the UK. I know not everybody on here is from the UK. We're being hit by storm. I have Kieran, whatever they're calling it these days. And we kind of got hit this overnight, early morning, and then we had a little bit of a lull here, and then we're being hit again this afternoon, I think. So, yeah, it's all fun and games, and hopefully poor Hazel that's in the Lake District isn't getting hit too hard because she's in a motorhome. So, back to the stamps. Proud Day stamp, coloured with... doesn't say which inks. Sentiment again is from the Poppy Bouquet, and how cute is that? So simple but so effective. Just a blended square, and she hasn't even coloured that flower, literally. But again, such a nice card to receive. And it doesn't have to be a thinking of you because you've lost somebody. It could just be a thinking of you because you are thinking of somebody. You know that someone's going through a bit of a tough time on something else. So Gay, thank you very much. I didn't know that either, but obviously it does. So another one from Hazel. She has used the Honeydew Crafts Ribbons stencil and embossed it through her die cut machine. Hi Sally. I know, it was lovely, Sally, isn't it? And then we have Proud Day coloured or stamped with Memento ink. But I don't know if it's going to come up. There we go. Hi Debbie. So she's run the stencil through the embossing machine, die cut machine, so that it embossed onto white cardstock, and then she's just popped that panel on there. Again, really, really effective. This is, I believe, a 6x6, but it could be a 5x5. Hi Debbie. It is technically a 6x6 card. They're slightly under because it's the envelopes that are 6x6, but you'll get the idea. That is another lovely one from Hazel. And then last but not least from Hazel again, Proud Day stamped in Memento black ink, coloured with Copic pens. Fab, love it. Lovely, bright, really nice, simple card to make. There's no overlapping, although it does look like it has. There's no, I don't think she's masked it. I'm trying to work them out against the images. She may have masked here, but that would be the only one that she's had to mask. Really, really, really effective. Really like that card. So that is our Proud Day set. So that's the one that you were raving about, I think, from our lovely Helen. And now we go on to Changing Blooms. Oh. Where are we? So obviously we've used a lot of different stencils and stuff within as we've made the cards as we're going along. So you're not going to see many of the stencils just used on their own, but yeah, our postage here, Sandra, is ridiculous at the moment. I think they breathe and they go up a day. So I know that feeling. I tend to do 8x8 cards, which really hit me hard. But I do think if you're spending the time to make them, then it's worth the postage to send them. So again, Changing Blooms, done by Hazel, and she's used the sentiment from Birthday Sentiments on this one. And it says, it's actually, I think that's birthday messages, it might be, I'm not sure. Wishing you the best on your special day. And literally she's blended some backgrounds with some different types of inks, and then just literally stamped on there, and a couple of little gems popped on there to give it a little bit of dimension. It's really effective, isn't it? So it shows you don't have to use that whole big stamp, because it is quite a big stamp, but it is, that is driving me insane that you can see that in the corner. That's my wet wipes. So we have another one from Hazel here. The sentiment on this one is from our single Lily stamp set. She's also used the teardrop foliage die with this as well. So actually all she has used is that tiny little foliage stamps that are on here, these two background ones. And she's popped that on there in the background with different colour greens. She's used our teardrop stencil on the top, which is a much bigger version of what you're seeing here. And then that lovely sentiment and just a little heart that she's obviously got in her stash, and a couple of gems. This has been matted and layered onto vellum, and I always forget to do that, but I love that little touch that people do just to add that in there. I think it looks really effective. It's very, very soggy here too, Susan. In fact, our road outside the house looks a little bit like a river, and every time people go past, it runs down the side road into Mum's. So I've even posted to ask them to drive carefully, but I don't think it's worked. But glad you could join us, Sue. Oh, I'll have to have a look at that, Sandra. I don't know if we've got that over here. So Changing Blooms, white embossing powder onto vellum. Love this card. It's like a pewtery black pearly card behind, I suppose, maybe. Yeah, it's sort of almost like a gunmetal. Looks a lot darker on the screen. And she's just stamped it and she's fussy cut it, but not gone in and out of every single little piece. But just sort of taken her time to fussy cut that. Been careful where she's popped the glue to hold that down. You could, Sally, what a lovely idea. I might have a play with that this afternoon. If I'd use it, I'll let you know. So yeah, again, and the sentiment that comes with this particular set of stamps. So, and again, a couple of little gems on there. I'm sorry, I'm reading messages as well as showing you the cards. It's been matted and layered onto a white cardstock and then a silver mirror card as well. It's a lovely one from Helen. This one's from Carol. She has used Funky Lines and Scribbles Stencil on this one. Distress Oxides in Kitsch Flamingo, Salvage Patina and Peacock Feathers. So she's used the stencils in the background, Funky Lines, she didn't say, and Scribble Stencil, so I think she might use... no. I think these sections here are from the Scribble Stencil. Yes, they are. The dots and bits and pieces are from that one. Yay, thank goodness you found us, Elizabeth. So yes, that one again, really nice, bright, simple card, easy to do. None of these cards would take you forever to make either, which is always quite nice. Sometimes it's nice to sit down and not have a huge challenge. So this one is done by Hazel. She has used Copic markers to colour it in, and she's used Memento ink to stamp it. It's kind of a coppery colour. Don't know if that's going to show up. And she's used a really, really thin border of copper mirror card around the edge. I'm just trying to catch that to make it pop. And again with the ink, it's sort of a copperish, reddish colour, which works really, really well. Lovely card. Another one from Carol, Distress Watercolour Pencils in Picked Raspberry, Mustard Seeds and Twisted Citron. So again, really, really effective. Just pop those in the corner just to tie it all together. I'm glad you like that. We did a black and white men's card on the last one, the one that you missed, Sandra. So if you do go back to watch that yellow orangey card, you will also see a black and white men's card that we made as well. Changing Blooms, Floral Wishes Sentiment, and this one's been done by Carol using Zig Clean Colour pens to colour in. Again, really, really effective. So she will have stamped this piece onto watercolour cardstock, which allows you to blend those colours so much easier. Oh, bless you, Gillian. What a shame that you're on holiday and you can't enjoy it. Hopefully it's a lovely hotel that you're in. So as I say, that one's really, really effective. Again, just use that background, those foliage stamps to create that background. And then last but not least, this is the one that you will have seen me making on Facebook, YouTube lives. So we did the vellum wrap on this one, silver mirror card behind it, and then don't forget we always carry it through onto the inside, which you can't really see because it's really, really lightly stamped in there. But we stamped and embossed on the card with white opal, no, white, and then on the vellum it's just white opal. I haven't coloured the vellum very heavily, just a really light touch of that colour on there. So that is Changing Blooms. That's all of those cards. So I'm going to just shuffle everything along so we can get these ones out away to get the next ones out. And as I say, we're going to go on to some stencil cards now. We don't have huge amounts of the stencils on their own because they kind of are part of something else, if that makes sense. You can use them on their own, but the design team have done a great job of mixing and matching. But these two little ones, are both done by Hazel, and they are both 6x6 cards. And so we've got sentiment on this one is from Make a Wish. The stamp on this one is Dancing Daisies, but the stencil on this one is Paint Splodgers. It's Paint Splats, Stencils and Mask. I'm glad you've got the stamp. Now you've got to get using it. Susan, there's no point keeping it in a bag. So this is a lovely card. Friendship is a gift that lasts forever. How nice is that? Well, if you're struggling with your sentiments on the inside, we do have a few sentiments within our collection that have sets within our collection that have sentiments, slightly longer birthday sentiments and things in there. But also try stamping it just onto a piece of cardstock and sticking it inside. That way you don't ruin the whole card, because we always put the sentiment in last. Sorry, I'm holding this card up. Love the volume ID. Good, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Debbie. There's some really good ideas from our design team. We're not a big team, we're a cute little team, but everybody just does, and everybody's so different, which is what I love about our little team. So again, as I say, this is using the paint, splat, stencils and mask, but she's used the stencil part here, and literally, how simple is that card, but how effective does that look? I love it. And then again, another one from Hazel, and she has used sentiment from a birthday wreath. Just really simple. How simple and cute is that idea? It is layered onto white cards. It's a white cards piece placed on top of a 6x6 card. So if it did go wrong, you haven't wasted the whole card base. But how cute is that? I think what an amazing, I would never have thought to do that. But what a perfect card if you are really strapped for time to get it out, or you're just stuck on what to do for a birthday card. I love it. Inserts is a good idea too, Kathy. I don't often do inserts in cards, so I wouldn't have thought about that, but that is a really good idea for not spoiling your cards. So that is the couple that we've got using the paint splats. There will be more on the TV, I hope. So we have a few, in fact you are going to see the card that we did do on that Facebook page. So these are our Funky Lines ones. So this is using a mixture of colours, off the top of my head it was Barn Door, Carved Pumpkin and Squeezed Lemonade on here. And also the script stencil in there. The sentiments on this one are from Matrix stamp set. Again, work really well. That particular set of stamps, the sentiments on there work really well on this stencil as well, so I use it a lot. I'm glad you're enjoying them, Margaret. As I say, we've got an amazing little team. So this one is done by Helen, and it's using the sentiment from Changing Blooms, Distress Inks and Funky Line stencil. And all she's done, so I've used a lot this particular stencil for men's cards quite a lot. This one makes a fab teenager's card, doesn't it? Or a lady's card that's not every female is into flowers. And all she's done is popped a couple of little sequins on there, which I think looks so effective. So yeah, really like that card. And again, it shows you don't have to use the whole stencil every time. You can get away with just using sections of it. So these are the next two cards. So I did, the first one is the other card that I did for men's cards on the last show. So we used the Funky Line stencil on here, and then the dots, dashes, stars, etc. and the sentiment are from the Shining Star stamp set. Again, Sandra, if you wanted to go and watch, that is on that video that I told you about on YouTube. But I also quickly popped in to show you a couple of others that, again, I just did while I was playing around. That's just black cardstock and a white ink pad. That's all I did was put a white ink pad through. Now, granted, it's black cardstock, so the white does, I did have to put a couple of layers of the white on there. And again, the sentiments I popped on there are out of the Matrix stamp set. Happy birthday, have a fabulous day. That's all it needed. Again, men's cards are notoriously difficult, so if you wanted to bling it up a little bit, you could, but again, makes a perfect man's card. So now we are going to go on to a couple of little samples using the bold brush strokes. I love this one from Hazel. She's used the sentiment from Simple Snowdrops, and she's used multiple different inks. Versafine Onyx Black for the sentiment. How cute is that? That is literally... I forget about using sequins on things, Sandra, and Helen always adds those in there, and I think, why didn't I think of that? It's just so simple but makes such a difference. So again, this one's done by Hazel. Love it. Lots of different colours in there, but Again, just one of those cards that would be nice just to send because you can send a card. Or if you want to change sentiment up, you can. There's nothing that says that sentiment has to stay. So this is the Bold Brushstroke Stencil and Changing Blooms sentiment, and the flowers are Summer Blooms die and the New Leaves die that she's used on here. So she's just used sort of a section of the stencil on there rather than the whole thing. It is a die cut piece that's been popped on here. And then these are the flowers just cut in white and stuck on with a gem in the middle. And then last but not least on this one, it is the one that you saw me making a few weeks back now on YouTube and Facebook on our lives, and that was using the stencil in the middle and then masked it to give the outside edge and then just popped a sentiment on the top. Such a simple card to make. Again, I really like it, really effective. And I don't often say I really like my cards, but I do really like this one. So hopefully you will do too. So that is our brush strokes collection. And then last but not least? No, we've got a couple more to go. Let's grab these ones first. So this one has been done by Carol. So we are using this is our Scribbles one now. By Carol, and she has used picked raspberry and twisted citron plus whatever green was left on her green Oxide brush. We're all good at that. So she's got a little bit of a combination of green in there, which again is really effective. And this is sort of the gatefold card. So she's used the bubble stencil on there as well. So our lovely bubbly is here and here. And then she's popped that beautiful big scribbly stencil in the middle here and here. So really, and it popped our sentiment on the side, birthday wishes. Sending birthday wishes your way, and that's from our Proud Day, no it's not, it's from our Floral Wishes stamp set. This one is done by, it's done by Helen. Scribble stencil, sentiments from Shining Star using Distress inks. I love this technique. You've all seen me do this kind of thing before, just like using different pieces. I love the idea of wintering in Florida. How nice would that be? Although I have been in Florida when at Christmas time and it was below freezing, which I didn't think happened in Florida, but it does. So yeah, this is a lovely one done by Helen again. She's just popped it into little sections, and then she's used the sentiment from Birthday Star, the little droplets from Birthday Star, the tiny little stars, the droplets again, and some more stars on there. Just done with Oxide, but how effective is that? And just by changing up the colours depends that who you send it to. Colours are a big thing as far as cards go, particularly with something like this. Somebody said to me that this one's like a flower scribble, or a scribbly flower. It doesn't have to be. So if you see the flower in it by breaking it down like this, it's not then necessarily a flower. So look at things, and that's why we have the design team, because we all do something completely different. This is one that I was playing with, and literally all I've done is Kitsch Flamingo through the middle. I have die cut, stamped and matte and layered a sentiment on there. The quickest, easiest card I think I have ever made in my life. It is so simple to make, but just by stamping that off the page, and great again for teenagers, which can be really difficult to make cards for. And then last but not least on this one, another one from Carol. She's used Scribbles and lovely bubbly stamp set, Changing Bloom sentiment and Distress Oxides in picked raspberry and cracked pistachio. So she's popped the bubbles, lovely bubbly stencil on the background of her sentiment, and then just done those 4 different scribble stencils on there. So you don't have to use the whole thing, the whole stencil as a one piece. And then we have one more to show you before we get on to some demos, and I have been waffling for 41 minutes, so we'll get the waffling out of the way and then I can start on this demo. It is a really quick demo today as well, so just because I knew this would take us a while. So we've got lovely bubbly stencil. The sentiment is from our Make-A-Wish stamp set, and there we go. Again, really simple, just by using different coloured inks and layering it over multiple times. Just popped a little bit of gold thread in there as well, just to give it a little bit of texture. So that is Hazel. Another one from Hazel. She has used a sentiment from Amazing Mouse, and she's also used the Berry Bunch die on this one. Again, another really cute, simple card to use. I've really concentrated on some men's cards this time, Gay, because it can be really difficult to make, can't it? So I'm glad you're enjoying them. So it's a really simple card to make, but again, so effective. Love it. What have we got here? Another one from Hazel. I haven't mixed them up very well here today, have I? She has used Lovely Bubbly Stencil. The sentiment is from Shining Star. So literally the sentiment. She's matte and layered it with some pink behind it, and then she's just used a black pen, scribbled on those odd circles. Again, it looks so effective, but so simple to make. Then we have, you've all seen bits of these ones. This is one, again, another one that I made. Again, a monochrome one, ideal for a men's card or just at graduation or something like that. This would be really good because obviously here in the UK, most people wear black gowns, don't they? So that would work really well. But also I have used, I'm trying to catch the light on a couple of them without it going out of focus, hopefully. You'll see that a couple of the circles have got a shine to them, and that is because we used the Versamark pen and got some crystal clear embossing powder on a couple of those extra bubbles as well. So that there's a couple down the bottom and a couple up the top that I've done that with, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of what to do with that one as well. This one we did make on Facebook Live. So yeah, again, just blended 3 different colours there. So I believe we did mustard seed, wild honey and spice marmalade, I think, on this one. So we went with the lighter through to the darker. And then, as per normal, I always carry it through the inside of my cards. So, and the sentiment is from the Shining Star again. And this is the last but not least by any stretch. Lovely card done by Helen. She used a Lovely Bubbly background stencil, and it's been made coloured with oxides. Front bauble done with zig pens and water, stamped and covered with Wink of Stella Gold Clear. Okay, so hope that made sense. So the front bubbles done with zig pens and water, stamped and covered with Wink of Stella Gold. Okay, so she's done it onto watercolour cardstock. She's put the watercolour, put the pens down on paper and just put water over it, which floods it, which gives you this amazing water effect, and she's cut them out. How effective is that? Then she's gone over the top of it with gold, so these front bubbles have a gold shimmer to them, which I don't think the camera's going to pick up, but I'll try. No, it's not. So they have a gold shimmer. Such a fab card. And there's a closer look on our, I think it's on the Be Inspired page, but we'll add it onto the Honeydew Crafts Facebook page as well, so that you can see that up close as well. So that's all the fab samples from our amazing design team. And now I'm going to pop this box that's very full to one side so that we can get started on the demo. It is a really quick, easy demo today. So we will go through what we're using. Now there is a slight change to this. I was going to use Twisted Citron, but I actually swapped it out and I'm using Shabby Shutter. So but I haven't got the Shabby Shutter ink with us. So we are using the sticky glue that we have in the 2 separate sizes. Hazel, if you're watching, we need to sort out getting that glue to you as well. So we've got the sticky glue, we've got the crystal clear embossing powder with the Versafine Onyx Black. We are using blending brushes. I will be using the big one because it's the biggest stencil I'm using. We are out of stock of the big ones at the moment, but we do still have the little ones in stock. Not many left, but they will be back. Don't panic. An anti-static bag if you require one. I've told you about the oxides. We're using the super smooth cardstock that we have in 250 or 300 GSM, your choice. And then we have got the stamping card, which the black card, which we also do 120 or 350 I think is GSM on the black. Yeah, we will be using our Bold Brushstrokes stencil and Make-A-Wish stamp set. So that's what we'll be using. They have worked hard, Pat, they are, and they've all been a bit poorly as well, so bless them, they've pulled the stops out while they've all been struggling. So let's go through what you need for today. You need a couple of scraps for your sentiment. And then you need a piece of black cardstock, which is 7 3/4 inches square, and a piece of white cardstock, which is 7 1/2 inch square, and another piece of white cardstock, which is 7 inch. And then obviously we're using an 8 by 8 card. So let's pop this off to one side. I have done my sentiment already, so I'm going to get rid of my scraps just so that we don't have extra pieces lying around. So, as I said, I did swap it out for Shabby Shutter just because I preferred the colour of the Shabby Shutter when I actually went to do it. Again, completely your choice. So I'm going to take my brushes and in fact, if we do the stenciling piece first, that gives it a little bit of time to dry while I do the rest. So we're going to take our Scribbles mask and stencil, but we're using the stencil side. Careful that you don't break the mask as you try and take the stencil out, Amanda. Now I have tried to make these as big as possible. I've said this before on our stencils on the milers, so I have done it so that you may sometimes have to kind of protect yourself a little bit. And when I say protect yourself a little bit, it's literally because it might get a bit close to the edge on your stencil. You just need to give yourself something to give you a clean edge so that you don't. So I'm just going to tuck that piece in there just because I don't want to go over the edge of my card here and give myself a solid line down the edge there. I need to move this up a little bit, don't we? Hopefully we're in about the right position-ish for what we have. I've still got that squeaky chair, you know. Can you hear it? It's not good, is it? And I'm loving my little trick that I found last time, do you remember? The trick that I found that my ink pads lids fit underneath my ink pads. Not that I've been doing this for very long, eh? Now I am not loading loads of ink onto this brush, and I'm going to take off quite a bit of the extra just on that scrap piece that I had here. With this particular stencil, work with the sharper jagged edges. If you scrub backwards and forwards or go round and round in circles, you may struggle and cause your stencil to get damaged. So just be mindful of that when you're doing it. And I quite like the effect that the brushes give you. If you don't have brushes, that is also fine. You can still do this particular technique, but I just quite like that brush look that you get with it. Now I don't want that too heavy because I am going to colour in. We are also using a couple of clean colour pens, which I forgot to mention. I've got the blending one as a backup. We're using green yellow, which is number 53, and sugared almond pink, which is number 200. So they're the clean colour pens we're using, which I apologise I forgot to mention. Right, and then once you're happy with that stamped blended image, I'm going to lift that off, and then I want to use the other side. I'm going to come in quite close, but again I'm going to protect myself. I don't want that to spread onto the other image that I have stamped or already stenciled. And if you wanted to as well, you could go underneath here with another piece, which I think I might do just to be on the safe side. You never know. Pop that down, And then take our green, and the same thing. Be mindful of those sharper edges on your stencil, and so you don't scrub them. But as I said, I don't want this really heavy because I am going to be colouring the image I stamp over the top, and I want to make that a little bit easier for myself. So if you're happy with that, yep, which I am, we can take all of those pieces away. So literally it's just a blended square, but by doing it with the stencil and not with a stamp, you get that extra the shading. You can kind of work on your shading a little bit more, which I think is quite a nice option to have. Get my board out of the way. So I'm going to leave that to settle for a few moments. While that does that, we're going to take the pink again. But again, do this in whatever colours you want. I just haven't done a pink card for a little while, so I thought we'd do a pink and green card this time. And I'm even wearing pink to go with it. My lord, a whole hour I've been waffling, and that's on top of the drama of the setup. As you all know, we are only on YouTube, but we will, if you want to see us on Facebook, be downloading the video as soon as we can onto Facebook, so that you can all watch it as well. I have no idea what the problem is, and the problem we have is I can't find out what the problem is until we go live. So it's a bit of a nightmare really. So all I've done is blended around that larger square, which let me remind myself of what size the large white square was. It is 7.5 inch square, just because I want the colours all to work together. So that's why I have done that. And that's all the blending you're doing. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. It is your matting and layering. You are not going to see anything other than around the edges. Oh. Right. So that's literally going to go over the top. So that's what you'll see. So, as I say, this piece is probably still wetter than I would want it to be. So I'm just going to heat it up with my heat gun just to try and dry that off a little bit. Doesn't need very much. And by heating on both sides, it helps try and keep the paper from warping too much. Now I am going to, if I can grab it, use my anti-static bag over the top of this, just to make sure that that has completely dried off before I stamp on the top. So let's grab the stamp. I'm hoping somewhere here my little sentiment, there it is still there. Had a bit of a panicked moment there, but my little sentiment that I'd already stamped out is still there. So we have our Floral Wishes stamp set. I'm going to use the Versafine Onyx Black. Ink it up. I always ink my stamps, or try and always ink my stamps while they're flat on the surface, because it allows you to put even coverage all over of your ink all over your stamp. And I'm not pressing hard, just putting plenty of ink down, so lots and lots and lots of little light taps rather than just one or two heavy pressured taps. And I'm going to quickly take that extra bit of ink off, because that extra bit of ink that's got up there will go a very long way. So work out where you want your stamped image to be. Pop that down. Everybody's gone very quiet now. I think I've probably waffled your ear off. And then we're going to pop some crystal clear embossing powder over the top. And this is where I hope that I haven't got it stuck all over the stenciled image as well, which I may well have done, but you know what, if I have, I have. Not too bad. And then pop all that extra back in the pot. We haven't got snow here, if you're still with us, Sandra, but it is blooming cold to what we've been having. Just dry that off before I put that down. So, now we're going to heat this up. Now this is a watercolour card. Glad you're still with us all. So this is a watercolour card, so although I'm using clean colour pens, and I do say to you that I normally use watercolour cardstock for that, I am just doing them in one colour. So I do tend not to use the watercolour card if I don't need to blend them. You do not need to go over it too much though. Obviously they are quite a wet pen. You don't want to tear your paper up by going over and over the same place too many times. So we're just heating that from underneath. That allows you to melt the powder without too much of that powder jumping, particularly because we're colouring it. Okay. And by doing it from did I get that piece? Missed a whole flower. That's my mum's trait. She normally misses. I thought I got that. There we go. So. Oh yeah, we did use that stamp at the workshop day, didn't we? So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a wiggle while it's still warm. Sadly, we are still trying to sell that place, so bear with us. You might still get lucky. So we are then taking our clean colour pens and just going to go in, and you don't have to be absolutely perfect when you colour this. Obviously, me colouring it on a live means it may not be quite as perfect as I would like it to be, but I do try. And it does, as I say, it doesn't have to be. And the fact that you've not gone too heavy a colour behind means it makes it a lot easier when it comes to colouring. If you wanted to go heavier behind with your stencil and didn't want to colour it in, that also works. So don't be afraid to do that. So I have got 2 more demos to prep after we finish our live today, and then I am completely prepped, ready for telly. That's unheard of for me to be organised that far ahead. And then we're just going to go in with the sugared almond pink. But remember, ladies and gents, you do need to blot this. I haven't blotted those leaves, so I'm going to avoid touching them with my hand because it will spread everywhere. If you find that your base colour is coming through a little bit on your flowers, leave them, and you've coloured them in, leave them to dry for a little bit, and then you can go back over the top. But I would let that ink dry a little bit before you did that. Not saying anything, but you might see this demo on the telly, because I figured I would test it out. So I'm just going to blot those now. Watching the magic happen, Emma. That's funny. So blotted that. How simple and easy was that to make? All I'm going to do now, I said to you I've done the sentiment already. I did, and I also took in that stencil onto, I will let you know. We should know by the end of the week, Sally. If not, we might be able to try and squeeze you in as well. Hang on, here we go. It's gone completely out of focus, hasn't it? There we go. So it's going to go out of focus on me again. So we have literally just popped the 2 colours and popped them on the same, onto the card, the sentiment as well. So it ties the whole thing in together. So we've got our piece that we've just blended. We've got the piece that we've just done and stamped and embossed, and popped our flower on there. And look, see, look, that was my scrap piece that I did it and didn't like what I did. You all saw my sneaky bit. I'm going off camera to glue it. I was playing, I thought, oh, we'll try the mask on there. I didn't like it, so we changed it. But you all got to see the sneak. So I'm going to layer that one on first. And then we will lay that onto the black, because obviously we've used the black with the stamp. I like to try and tie it all in. So that's what I did. So Sally, email me afterwards, or I'll try and remember to email you. We will know by the end of the week, but I think we can probably try and fit you in as well. I'll have to have a word with the hotel and see if we can fit you in. I know if your space is gone, I think we may be full to full. But I will let you know. Coming around fast now, that one. Okie doke. So we've layered all of those up. Now, if you were big and brave, you could go straight on there with your sentiment if you didn't want to layer it up. But I quite like having that extra matting and layering in the background. You can go with the sentiment down here, you can go with your sentiment up the top. I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to go up the top. About there. And just pop that sentiment on there, and it says sending get well wishes your way. And then we need to carry that through your card again with your stencil. I didn't add any extra ink. Put the stencil on there, and I might just do a little section of the green on there as well. Not the whole thing, I don't think. There we go. So it mirrors what we did on the outside. And obviously you're going to pop your sentiment in there as well. So how quick and simple was that card to make? But how effective is that card? Again, depending on the colours that you use, depends on who you're going to send it to. Usually, although some men love pinks. But we don't tend to send pink cards to men, but there's no reason why you can't. So that is our bold brush strokes stencil, Floral Wishes stamp set, and the sentiment is also on the Floral Wishes as well. So I think that is enough of me waffling today. You get me back. I'm so sorry about all the mix up and muddle that we had earlier before we got started. I know we're running way over what I planned on doing today, but we eventually got there. So a couple of things to tell you about. As I've mentioned before, we have TV on the 8th of November at 7 p.m. Our next Facebook Live is on the 16th of November at 2 p.m. Fingers crossed we will be Facebook, YouTube Live for everybody. And then the final show of the year is at the Motorcycle Museum on Saturday the 25th of November. We will still be doing some Facebook Lives on the run up to those, and hopefully into December as well. We're looking at doing maybe one TV show in December. We haven't confirmed a date with them yet though. And I think that's everything I need to tell you about. What an eventful afternoon it has been. Thank you those of you that did come over to join us on YouTube, and it was lovely that you did. Sandra, enjoy the snow. Everybody else, stay safe and warm in this fabulous, I think it's our third storm in about 3 weeks. So stay safe, and we will see you all again soon. Take care, and thank you once again for staying with us and